I'm RJ Nestor, productivity consultant and Tana ambassador. And wouldn't it be nice sometimes if you could just take a list that you assembled in Tana with a query and turn it into a list of references that you can actually manipulate? Well, let me show you first of all that I have a way to do that. All I have to do is use my command that I've created called convert to plain list. And I click that, and now what was in a query is now just individual references that I can move around. I'll show you that again real quick so you can see how that works. It's a query. All of these are here because they're part of this query that are bringing in tasks and events, or tasks or events scheduled for today. And then all I have to do is run my convert to plain list command, and bam, now you can see they're not a query anymore. They're just references. Okay, so how does that work? How can you build this? I created this video because there was a user in the Tana subreddit asking specifically about how could you assemble an agenda that wasn't just then in a query, like you could make use of the information. And I realized, hey, this is a use of a command that's pretty accessible and might be a nice introduction to commands in general for people who are interested in exploring that in more depth in Tana. So once again, I'll undo a couple of times here so you can see this go back to being a search. The way this command is built, I'm going to bring this command up for you, is a pretty interesting little process, because what it allows me to do is run existing commands that are already inside Tana. So I'm going to open this in the right sidebar. And you can see this is itself a command that I created. It actually exists in my Tana for action template. So, you know, if you saw this and you're like, hey, I like this command or I like other commands, you can always buy my Tana for action template. But this one is simple to build yourself too. If you ever have a need, I use the example of tasks and events in an agenda for a day. But this could be used in any number of situations where you want to bring things together using a query, but then you want to be able to manipulate them more directly. So you wanted them outside the query when you're done. This command is very easy. You'll see the only command actually inside it is Tana's run a command line command, which means run a command that Tana already has built in. And so when I edit the configuration here, you can see these are the 4 commands I'm running. Now, these are plain text. One of the weird things about the way Tana's structured here is you do need to have these in here as plain text, because I think it's probably just searching for them in the background to run them. I mean, inside, it doesn't take long to do as you watch it happen there. But in other words, you could do all of this manually. I could go one at a time, and I could be from this today's work node, and I could say convert search node to plain list. And then I could hoist children siblings. And then you see I have that there. And then I could select node. And then I could delete selected. And it has the same effect. I've just taken that. I've done the 4 steps that I would have done automatically, but I've done them manually. So now we'll undo those 4 steps. So now we're back to having the search. Let me go ahead and remove this from here because it's a little visually disorienting. So that's all that's happening in this command. So when you create a new command, I'll create here, new command. To create a new command, you just need to run the convert to command. That's Command K. I'm using the word command a lot here. The button Command K on Mac, or the Control K on Windows. And then just say you want to convert it to a command, convert it to a command node. Once you've done that, the only thing you have to do here is choose run a command line command. And then when you open the configuration there, commands is already there. Just list the manual commands you want to run. You'll want to copy through these and make sure that they're, matching in syntax and all. I think that these are a little bit forgiving, but you'll want to make sure that the capitalization and the spacing is right. It just makes it so that you can be assured it will do the right thing. So for any kind of list that you're assembling by query, but then you would like to turn into a plain list that you can manipulate, these set of 4 commands that you can trigger from your own custom command using Tana's run a command line command command. I should do a word count and see how many times I say command in this. You'll have that. This is easy. This is how it's set up. Now, one of the things you may notice is I have this little emoji in here. The reason I have the emoji in here is I actually use this as a button. So when I have my agenda in Tana for Action, it's built into Tana for Action, and in my own personal workspace, actually has a button for this command automatically added every day to this particular node. It's not called today's work in mine, but it's the same concept. Now, if you wanted it to be every day, I don't have, this is just a demo space here. I don't have a day super tag, but if you did, you'd want to go into the day super tag, go into the content template there, and wherever you have this query that brings in your day's work, do what I'm about to do inside there. But for right now, I'm just going to show it here. Any search, I think most of you know probably that super tags can be configured to have command buttons on them. You may not know that. In this case, we don't need the super tag. You can actually add a command button to any node that you want to add it to. You just have to know that something called configure node exists. So like I said, if you were doing this and wanted to show up every day, you'd want this search to live inside of the day super tag. And you'd want it then to, this search as built is just drawing on today, but you'd want it to draw on parent, which that will also work here because it's on the day node. So that search, you'd want it to live inside some sort of day super tag, whatever you have set up. And that's built in my Tana for Action app already. But you can configure this node, once you get it in the day super tag, you can configure the node so the command shows up on it every day. Or it just shows up on that particular node is the more accurate way to say it. Configure node is inside the command line, so Command K or Control K, and choose Configure Node. And you'll see as you scroll down, Commands Compact Menu. That's the only one you actually need. If you can put it in both compact and full, but if you only have something in compact, it will also automatically show up in full. So I'm going to put convert to plain list. You'll see I use the @ symbol, so I knew I was calling up existing things, and I just put convert to plain list right here in that. And now you'll see that convert to plain list is here as a button, and when I click it, it automatically turns it into that list. So as you walk through this video again to make sure you know how it's working, remember the key components are you are creating a Tana command. Within that Tana command, that's your custom one, you're using the run a command line command, and that in there you're using the 4 typed out, convert to a plain, I don't remember the exact name, but they're earlier in the video, convert to a plain node, convert a search node to a plain node. Then you want to hoist those from being children of that up to the level, and then you just want to delete the node that was originally the search so that it's out of the way. And once you've done that, then you can configure the node so that there's actually a button to do it. You don't even have to remember the name of the command or go find it anywhere. So I hope that's helpful. Like I say, I use this for my agenda each day because I want to then be able to kind of move things up and down and plan the order I want to do them in without, worrying about them being inside a search. But I need them to arrive via search so I don't have to go looking for them. I think there'd be any number of times in your work that you might find value in a one-step click here to be able to turn things inside a search into individually manipulatable references. So if that's helpful, and I hope it is, you can implement that pretty easily in your workflow. And if you want this command and other commands that are equally useful and sometimes a bit more complex, my Tana for Action template that is a complete task and life management tool built inside Tana may be something you'd be interested in. So you can go check that out as well. I hope this is helpful for you.